Next on deck with Tim Black.
The mayor says it's a crisis that will cost the city billions without federal aid. To date, the city says it's spending $9.8 million a day providing care for the migrants. That's $300 million a month, amounting to $3.6 billion a year.
The migrants are merely a pawn in a game for somebody to pick up a big fat check. I can't stand Karens, but at least if I gotta listen to a Karen, they should have to be Americans. Yeah, we got migrants that sound like Karens.
This is the main problem. I have 7 children. So, it's many children together. So the problem is very hard for me to go from one shelter to another with 7 children.
Maybe you should have 7 children. And if you're gonna have 7 children, maybe you should stay in the country that you made those 7 children. Yeah, maybe you should stay in wherever you come from and raise those 7 children there instead of having them there, having all that fun, making 7 kids, and coming to America and going, take care of me. Take care of us. What, I'm not allowed to say that? Across the line, huh?
And some of those shelters don't want to accept me because the amount of children I have 7 children. When they find out I have 7 children, they don't want to take us.
This interpreter needs help. Yeah, I wouldn't want to take you either. It's going to be hard to get a date when you got 7 kids. 7 kids. Some of the shelters don't want to take us. Yeah, because you need 7 beds. Or at least 2. Right?
Also, another problem that we have, the children have a benefit provided by the schools. This is the transportation and benefits like this, because they are moving us so often from one shelter to another. My children cannot take advantage of this school benefit or transportation because of this.
Oh, she has to move a lot to the next free place to live. Oh. Free room and board. You just don't get to pick where. Oh.
The problem is that the school needs 2 weeks in order to process a change of address. So that means 2 weeks to process the change of address and 2 weeks to transfer the children from one school to another. And this is a very long process. Another problem is this, because they don't have a steady school transportation. What is happening is this. Let's see, they have a medical appointment and also they had to go to school. My poor children had to decide between missing a class or missing a medical appointment. It's very bad for all of us.
You know what? See, Americans have problems too. We have to decide between missing a doctor's appointment or missing rent. Or missing a doctor's appointment and just missing life in general. You're not being here. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't, I'm losing. I'm not really seeing your point. Why are we sitting here listening to someone who didn't pay into the system complain about the system not being as responsive as it does free shit for her and her kids? They were not born in this country, that are not American and is not married to an American citizen. And they come here and still complain. Listen to a translator for a Venezuelan mother who came to New York City illegally with her 7 children, complaining about not having a steady place to live. On average, New York City pays $387 per migrant per day. $387 per migrant per day. Meaning, taxpayers are footing a bill of roughly $3,100 per day for her family. Taxpayers are footing a bill of roughly $3,100 per day for her family. Meanwhile, right after Hurricane Helene, the victims were offered $750. That's it, just $750, even though some had lost their entire homes. It's not just a woman here, Venezuelan mom with her 7 kids. She's not the only problem here. It's not just the system, it's the people that take advantage of the system. When I say that, I'm talking about the corporations and the contractors who are making money off this woman. You have to understand how this works. Taxpayers are footing the bill, but who's making the money?
Construction is now underway for a new migrant shelter that will house 2,000 men on New York City's Randall's Island, with the state covering the cost. Sources telling the New York Post it will cost New York taxpayers $20 million a month to keep the shelter operating.
That money for those services, those vouchers, those things, that's just like private prison money.
100,000 migrants have come to New York City since last year. Close to 60,000 are being housed in 198 city-provided shelters. The mayor says it's a crisis that will cost the city billions without federal aid. To date, the city says it's spending $9.8 million a day providing care for the migrants. That's $300 million a month, amounting to $3.6 billion a year. And the city is legally obligated to provide safe shelter for every migrant who arrives into the city.
Someone gets to collect that money. When you put somebody through the system, got to pay for the housing, got to pay for the food, the clothing, the electricity, the everything. There's a company for that.
We're currently actually every day we're in meetings, on calls with the state and with the county.
In a migrant briefing this week,
to figure out what the long-term plan is to get through the calendar year together.
City leaders were asked once again about their plans to pay for the migrant crisis once the money runs out. New numbers show the city has spent a total of $194.5 million on migrant-related vendors since October of 2022. That doesn't include the cost of city agencies and their work on the migrant mission, like how much it's costing to educate school-aged new arrivals. Of those vendors, though, the Kansas-based company, Favored Healthcare Staffing, continues to be the highest paid, making $126 million since the mission started. The cost paid mostly by the state, the remainder split between the city and federal government.
So when you bring in migrants, it is a boon to the economy of someone's personal pocket. It may not boon your economy or your pocket, taxpayer person. We're not talking about you. We're talking about those corporations that are in that business who are employed or win a contract providing said service. All of a sudden, things are going through the roof. Just imagine if you had a hotel. You could keep it booked up with people, and you know they're going to pay. It's coming from the government. No squatters here. No squatters. Huh? Guarantee payment from the U.S. government, taxpayer money, taxpayer funded. The people are not, it is not just the people. In fact, the people are merely pawns. The people are merely pawns. Now, I know there are people that aren't going to be ready for this message, but think about it. Why are we doing it? Why is America doing it? You think we care about people that much? Do you? If it's not about exploiting the workers, which we know it is, right? We know that, right? Depresses wages, exploits workers. But it's also all the other businesses that benefit. You have to know. Open your mind up and consider what I'm saying. The migrants are merely a pawn in a game for somebody to pick up a big fat check. You know it to be true in your heart of hearts. If there's a way to get a kickback, if there's a way to make a buck off that system, there are companies making a buck off that system. Think about it. So when I'm talking about these issues, when I'm discussing these issues, we're going to also start adding in this. I've had people write me about the migrant issue, and most of the time when they're writing me, they're just talking about the moral implications. I came up with this myself. And I think this is a winner. This is a winner. It's all about money. We know it's about money when it comes to everything else. We know it's money when it's everything else. Why would this be any different? Huh? Why would this be any different? I really want to know what people think about this in the comments section. If America ain't making money off of it, there'd be no reason to do it. We go to war for money. We lock up the poor for money. And we bring in some more for money. Can you hear me now?